episodes, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, and we're here for my awesome show, Deep Astrology, going into what's going on this week in the astrology, of course, taking it even deeper than just that surface level astrology that's just everywhere right now. Now, this is a special edition because it's the beginning of an eclipse week, so you know what that means. It's fate train time. Beep, beep. Is the train going anywhere, though? That's a good question. You know, this is such an interesting week to look at. It's the start of eclipse season. Remember, every 6 months, of course, we come into eclipse season, but this is the northern part of the eclipses, where the North Node is. So this is definitely a different energy. We've been talking over the last couple weeks about this illuminary aspect, right? These are eclipses happening in Cancer and Leo and dealing with illuminary, dignified positions, right? The sun in Leo, of course, is where it's home, and the moon is at home in Cancer. And we're going to have a solar eclipse here in Cancer this week. And then a month from now, we're having a solar eclipse in Leo. And then, of course, we're having another eclipse in between, which is a lunar eclipse, which will be in Leo and Aquarius. And that one is a really crazy one. But we're going to talk today about not only the solar eclipse in Cancer and how big of a deal that is, but we're also going to be talking deeply today about the other transits. Venus, of course, in Virgo now, making trines, and a grand trine actually to Uranus, which is in Taurus, and Saturn in Capricorn. We're going to be talking about how the solar eclipse is opposing Pluto, of transformation and change, and even going deeper than you could even possibly imagine. And then, of course, we're going to be looking deeply at some of the other transits, which I think are very significant for this time, which, of course, the big news is on July 10th today, Jupiter came direct. So finally, we got Jupiter, the planet that brings fortune, good luck, opportunities, and a positive attitude and a look forward into the future. Definitely moving forward is a good thing, especially it's almost kind of like much needed right now. There's a lot of planets retrograde, right? We've got Pluto retrograde, we got Neptune retrograde, we got, well, Uranus ain't retrograde yet, but it's coming close to being retrograde. Jupiter's now direct. We got Mars retrograde. And so all we really have is Mercury, Venus, Uranus, and Jupiter direct. And we've got Uranus getting ready for its retrograde and Mercury ready for its retrograde. So really the only planets that'll be kind of moving forward really is this Jupiter-Venus, which actually, believe it or not, are the two most beneficial planets. So my main message to everybody before we really dive deep into the charts and before we dive deep into everything that's going on right now this week is realize that, yes, it could feel very intense as far as feeling like there's burdens we're dealing with, there's challenge, there's emotional upheavals in our lives, there's so many ups and downs, and it could sometimes feel like we're at the end of our rope. But you need to realize when you look out yonder that there's actually a lot of hope out there, believe it or not. There's a lot of positive things to look at in everything that we're looking at. Now, you all know that I am not somebody to fluff the crap up when it's crappy. I'm not trying to just say, hey, this is all just crap and let me just float some hope to you and hopefully you'll make it to shore and survive. I'm really being honest with you that even though it looks grim in many aspects of our life, I really am being honest and truthful when I do say that there is some extreme positive energy out there, and whether or not we are going to navigate towards that or fall victim to falling into the traps of that extreme negativity is really what these eclipses are about. This is a lot about the confidence in our emotions and how we deal with our emotions, and more importantly, it really is about finding grounding in structures and, more importantly, people and things in life that actually have a backbone, that have a structure, and that have a guide towards creating something, opposed for seeking or looking for things that offer really nothing in return. Because I think that there is this part of our souls right now that is seeking so much. Whenever we have a bunch of planets retrograde, especially Mars retrograde in Aquarius, we're seeking these other worlds, but we're head first into our patterns, we're head first into our subconscious issues right now, especially dealing with our egos, especially dealing with how we react to things in our life. So it's important for us to watch our reactions, especially a big solar eclipse in freaking Cancer, for God's sake. I mean, the emotions are definitely being lit up at a very high extreme, and in opposition to Pluto, which deals with whether you're really happy or not, whether you're really getting what you want or you're not, whether you're really ready to commit all the way or you're wanting to pull out. I mean, you know, and a lot of things in life are kind of all over the place, to where one second you might be in, the next second you might be out. The next, I mean, emotions are water, right? And it's been a grand trine in water we went through this last week. So one minute your feelings are on this side of the sea, and the next minute the feelings change and go to that side of the sea. So it's like, oh my gosh, I'm all over the place. But we have to find some sort of grounding with where the energy is right now. That is extremely important from this week, with Venus, of course, in Virgo. Trining Saturn, trining Uranus and Earth signs. Now, there is some weird parts to this grand trine that's happening during this eclipse. And of course, we'll go deeper in the charts to look at this, but I want to say this. Remember that Venus is at what we call fall position, which means it is not in its happiest place. You know, if you were to score it from 1 to 12, it's a 12, you know. Not 12 meaning the best either, 1 being the best. So Venus, you know, out of all the 12 signs, if there was one place where it would not like to be, it would be Virgo. And the reason why that is of course, because the exaltation where Venus loves to be is Pisces. Because Venus in Virgo tends to be very reality-based, very nitpicky. And of course, when it comes to our self-worth and when it comes to relationships, the last thing we want is a nitpicky girlfriend or boyfriend, or even on ourselves, nitpicking ourselves to death, or perfectionism, right? Virgo has this kind of holy perfectionism of like trying to find the virgin qualities of things. And so when it sees any dirt or it sees something that isn't exactly in alignment, it kind of already makes a call. Whereas Venus, when it's exalted in Pisces, kind of is more forgiving, much more understanding of the, you know, consciousness of, you know, everybody kind of comes from their own ways. There is no perfection. There is kind of, you know, the aspect where forgiveness and understanding and compassion and empathy are important. But I don't want to say that this Venus in fall position is necessarily bad, because of the great transits that Venus will go through for the next month. Usually, you know, when Venus comes in Virgo, I usually go, oh, this is going to suck royal ass. But in my opinion, I think that this Venus in Virgo is much needed for us to make some adjustments in our life, some changes, and to be honest, to look at our reality about certain situations. But even deeper than that, as it's making powerful trines to Saturn and Uranus, powerful sextiles to Jupiter, awesome aspects pretty much across the board, you know, I think that it's important for us to really look at, there is some real positive energy of this Venus coming into Virgo. And the grounded energy and the changes that you can make in your life, of course not trying to be too nitpicky about them, but cleaning up our lives. The other thing interesting about this is Uranus. Uranus is in Taurus, where it is at fall position. Because Uranus doesn't like Taurus. Because what is Uranus? It's the god of heavens, right? Like it knows the skies. And so it wants to be free and up in the air and up in the clouds and seeing from a high view. But when you're in Taurus, you're a cow on earth with your head in the grass, and there's physical energy, and it's hard to break through that, right? There is not, it's very hard to break through things. It's also hard to let go of things that we really need to have in our life. Where Uranus is all about breaking the norms and breaking free and rebelling and finding liberation. Well, that's kind of hard in the sign of Taurus when, how are you going to liberate yourself from, let's say, something you need like money to eat, right? Oh yeah, I'll just live off the grid and I'll go do wherever I want. That's very Uranus Taurus. Like, but then you realize, oh shit, the world really is not prepared or ready for that, you know? So, you know, Uranus and Taurus is at fall because there are just some things that we do need in life. You know, whether we get rid of money or not, there will still be some sort of commodity Always. I don't care what any hippy-dippy person tries to say in the whole universe. Let's just use astrology here. Taurus deals with money and possession and, more importantly, whatever is of worth. And there will always be something physical on this planet of worth. Whether that's land or nature or the earth itself or money or trading something, there is always on this planet going to be something you need in order to get what you want. That is what Taurus speaks about. A seed needs dirt and water, and it needs sunlight. There is always a need for something on this planet. Your body needs oxygen, or I'm sorry, you're not going to be listening to deep astrology for another 25, 30 minutes after this. You'll be dead already, you know what I mean? So there are things in this world we do need, and Uranus and Taurus cannot break free of certain things that are necessary in life. And that's quite a conundrum when you have Venus in its fall, Uranus in its fall, and these are two of the planets that are direct. So it's not like, you know, a lot of the energy right now is very like moving forward, because you got to think Venus is like, ah, shit, I got to go into Virgo. And then you got Uranus like, well, shit, I'm kind of stuck here in things that I need, and I can't just break free of them, you know, and there's things that I need to look at to be better in my manifesting, and this is shit that, you know, I gotta have to be on Earth about. I just can't escape to the universe and go on my spaceship and fly away whenever I want to. There's shit we need in life. Whatever those needs are, maybe, you know, you do have money problems in your life and you do need money. There's a lot of money stuff going around in the universe right now with Uranus and Taurus and Jupiter that just come direct in Scorpio. Yeah, I'm gonna be the guy who says it. Everybody's got money on the brain somewhat, whether it's I need more to get this happening, or how am I going to gain more money, or where is this money going and how is it going to get to me to this place. Like money is just, you want to talk about a DuckTales world we're in right now? Scrooge McDuck is around, you know, and it's definitely part of our lives right now, especially as Venus is making grand trines to this. And what's interesting about this grand trine to me is Saturn, right? Like Saturn is in its home sign, but it's connected to two planets in its fall. So Saturn is the ruler, and that's why I say structures are important. Right now in your life, the only thing you should be focusing on is something with a structure. Projects that don't have a structure yet, or trying to get started, that don't have a structure, that don't have a backing behind it, that don't have anything, that are just up in the thin air right now, or even look at that with relationships with no structure behind it yet or anything like that, are very difficult to move forward with, because Saturn in Capricorn has some sort of integrity that it needs to carry, and Saturn in Capricorn has a checklist. Like, in order to get to the next checkpoint, in order to get to the goal, you've got to be able to make it to these places. And I think with Uranus and Taurus, it also kind of is this look at, hey, in relationships, in money situations, like, is this relationship, does your self-worth, is this money situation, does it have a structure? You know, we'll take a relationship for example. Let's say you start a new relationship or something, and what are the attachments to that? You know, are they going to be able to like go with you in this relationship, or have you detached from those things fully? What is the baggage we all carry in our life that holds us from getting where we want to go in our life? And a lot of that is deeply connected with, you know, patterns, subconscious patterns, ego patterns, and a lot of things that are coming up in this space. You know, I do want to say though, when I really think about this opposition to Pluto, fear comes up. The fear of integrating yourself 100% into a decision. Pluto is in Capricorn, the ruler of decisions, the ruler of looking at very big risks in life. And Pluto is teaching us to go deeper, to go beyond, and to commit ourselves to a road, to commit ourselves to a certain risk in life. And this opposition is hard because the sun and moon are in Cancer, and this is a solar eclipse and a lunation here that is extreme, dealing with comfort, security, deep emotional ties, subconscious tendencies of what you like to do and what you get stuck in. So I think it's very difficult, because in order for us to get where we want to go, this whole eclipse cycle really is about, you know, major choices we're going to make that will transform our lives. And kind of, at the end of the day, you can't just sit on the rope and kind of be like, well, I'm in this thing, and I'm in that thing, and I'm in that thing, and I'm in that thing. No, this lunation is all about, I've got to make a choice. And I've got to weigh out my options for where I want to go in my life. Where's the best place for me to go in my life? Looking deeply at who you really are inside. And sometimes, you go deeper than you even think with Jupiter and Scorpio that just finished its retrograde, right? Like maybe you thought it was this pattern that you want to get out of, but really maybe there was a pattern below that was actually the real cause of the pattern in which you were only looking at. So maybe you have to go deeper and be like, wow, this is like a lifetime pattern I keep doing. And even if I get out of this situation, oh my God, it's just going to repeat itself again. When are you going to get deeper to that deeper pattern and go, oh my gosh, maybe that's the motherfucking shit, that's the problem that I need to face, that's the truth. When I talk about the truth, I'm not just talking about like the quick look at, yeah, this is my truth. I like this about me and I know who I am and that's what I am and that's my truth, Truth is a deep looking process. Scorpio goes deeper and deeper and deeper. Why is there the reason that you like to do something in life? Why do you like to go to the strip club? Why do you like to, I don't know, fuck goats? I don't know, it's like, what is that issue? You know what I mean? Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe your truth is, yeah, you like goats, but what's deeper than that? What's deeper than that? I don't know. You know me, I'd love to come up with some crazy analogy right now, but I think we already went a little bit too far with the goat fucking, but we'll just stay on track here. And that's what's important right now, especially during these times, is staying on track, because the only thing we have right now in our lives to keep us somewhat sane is a track, is a plan, is a structure, something that actually has material backing behind it, something that actually physically can be possible, instead of looking at comfortable dreams that seem wonderful. But really, is there any backing there? Are you really running to a place where you don't even know what the option could be in the unknown? And then you end up there and there's nothing there? What happens when there's nothing there? This is places where you only can see and I hate to use the term of you've got to put yourself in kind of a businessman or woman's position in life when Saturn's in Capricorn and all this earth energy and grand trine of okay, if I want to go into business for my life, where's the structure? Is there some money here? Is there a building? Is there a place to do it? Are there people that want to support it? Is there all this kind of thing that actually makes sense for me in the long run? Will I be comfortable here? Maybe it's going to be a little bit of a risk to do this, but you know what? This is the structure and it's going to take me somewhere that I really want to go, and that's going to be good for my long-term life? Good for the next 30 years? Not good for the next month, not the quick hit off the meth pipe, yeah, this will be hot for a fucking second, woo! And then what happens but a crash? Oh, fuck, man, I fucking quickly, emotionally thought this would be great for me, and this is but I'm not looking deep enough and realizing this is the pattern in my life that's just screwing my life up. Because what, you want to be a little bit more comfortable? You don't want to actually do the work and actually step up to the plate and play ball and fucking get a trophy in life? Or do you just have fun sitting in the corner and, watching everybody else on Facebook and Instagram live these fucking amazing lives while you're just sitting in the corner fucking, and I'm not trying to put anybody down or make people feel bad, because that includes me or anybody. We're all in the same boat. But I'm trying to say, this is a big choice of whether or not you play the game or you don't. You choose not to face your deep subconscious patterns. You choose not to do the work that might be difficult, that you know is true, that you know is your own pattern bullshit, that you know is not comfortable to deal with. But you know what? You know it'll get you to a great place in your life. You know it'll give you the rewards and the success that you want. But at the same time, it's you're going to have to realize that it's going to be uncomfortable. But maybe that's more comfortable in the long run than a quick comfort of, well, I don't want to face that, I don't want to deal with that. Letting your ego rule, well, I want this right now, this is how I want it, and this is the only way that I see it should be, so I'm going to go down that road. And guess what? It's more comfortable anyways. Okay, have fun on your quick fix there. Have fun. And then you know, a couple months down the road when you're looking at not only the people maybe you screw over in your life, or the things that happen in your life, or whatever might happen, or whatever the hell the situation is, you're looking and you look on the Instagram, you look on Facebook, you look in the world, or wherever you're at, if you're in somewhere in the world, and you look down the road, wherever you're at, and you see, shit, there's nothing here. It's me in this place I thought was comfortable, which was actually the most uncomfortable place I've ever been in my fucking life. But this is some, and I've been saying this one for weeks, this is not little kids' conscious work. This is the big boy and big girl shit. This is the big tests. This is the real deal. This is the foundation that you're lying in your life for the craziest 2 years we're going to see astrologically in our lives. In our lives. Do you all remember that Pluto and Saturn are coming into Capricorn? Well, they already are, but they're coming into a conjunction next year. That 33-year cycle. The two badasses coming in the same spot next year with the South Node and eclipses. Where do you think the next eclipses are coming? 6 months from now. Where do you think they're coming? Oh, Capricorn and Cancer. We're getting a taste this week of where you'll be 6 months from now based off the shit you're doing now. And that shit is going to last years. So, like, this is where the blind or the awake are truly tested at their highest positions, especially during eclipse time. It's the real sense of true awakening and awareness and consciousness. And all consciousness starts with yourself, not what anybody else is doing. This isn't about everybody else's way they live their life and how they affect your life and blah, blah, blah. No, this is you taking ownership of what's going to be best for you. And if the patterns that you have deeply gone through, now that Jupiter's direct and shown you over the last 3 months since March, are those patterns the ones you want to continue with? Or work on transforming? Because Scorpio is about transformation. It doesn't mean that you just chuck it off the side of the road like a big gulp fucking in the middle of the desert and be an asshole litterer and think that you can just get rid of it. No, it'll fucking not just decompose. That thing is going to end up on the side of the road, and in 20 years from now, people are going to be flying on Tesla jets and shit and looking on the side of the road and be like, who the fuck threw that fucking piece of shit 44-ounce big gulp on the side of the road and thought they could just let go of it? No, Scorpio is transforming your energy. So it's taking your truth, it's taking a pattern, it's taking your deep, darker shades. Because let's be fucking real. Scorpio is your darker shades in life. It's the darker shade of whether you want to watch a gangbang on Pornhub or you like to watch fucking, I don't know, teen porn or something, whatever that is. And of course I'll bring up the sex because Jupiter's now direct in Scorpio. It's the shit we don't talk about with many people. It's not like you walk into a store or you go to Panera Bread or you go to some place and be like, yeah, I'd like the turkey sandwich with the bacon and avocado and a Sprite. And I don't know if you know, but I just watched a fucking banging ass orgy right now. It was fucking awesome. Can I use your bathroom real quick? And what do you think there's going through their head? You using the bathroom to go pee, or what's the deal? So of course we don't bring up our darker shades, our deeper truth. We don't bring up our true patterns, you know what I mean? We don't bring this shit up. We don't talk about this shit a lot, but you know it deep inside yourself. And with Scorpio, the ultimate truth is the truth that you know about yourself inside, especially with this trine to Neptune and Pisces. Guess what? You and God know what's up. You're aware enough. You're aware of your patterns. What is your deep pattern that just keeps going and going and going that's causing spirals of darkness? Or things that are holding you from the thing you really want in your life. Of course, we try and, smooth that over with some sort of, escapism of realizing, oh, I'll just bail out. I'll just bail out or try something different or go in a new direction or whatever. But really, I'm not ready to face my shit. I'm not ready to face my patterns. Fuck that. I'm not ready for that. Well, I hate to be the bringer of this news, but these eclipses are definitely not going to accept people who are not ready to go to the bottom of their truest self and be accepting of their shit and be ready to transform that into something beautiful and good. That is what this is about. A solar eclipse exactly opposed Pluto. You ready to fucking transform your life? You ready to face your fears? Your deepest fear is you fucking changing yourself. That's your deepest fear. Your deepest fear is transforming yourself to get on the trail that you know will be better for your life. Or are you going to pick the comfortable route, the easy route, and the chill route that will only last for a minute, a week, maybe a month, and then bam, smacked in your face, same position all over again. You know what I mean? It could even be patterns that you were doing 9 years ago when we had these sets of eclipses, right? Because you got to remember that every 9 years the nodes come back around, but these were in opposite positions, right? It was the north node in Aquarius and it was the south node in Leo. So we're coming into a bunch, and you got to remember that in 2009, at the very end, October 2009, we had Mars, which retrograded in Leo. How funny that now Mars is in retrograde in the opposite sign in Aquarius. We had the north node in Leo, or south node in Leo, north node in Aquarius time, and the eclipses were starting in this Leo Aquarius and this Cancer zone, but in the opposite places. So put yourself in the position of where you were at basically 8 years ago. Especially with Venus getting ready to retrograde in Scorpio, coming back into Libra, the same, not exactly the same, but the same position of Scorpio where Venus retrograded, which happens every 8 years, that was in 2010 in November. So we're at this very interesting point in our lives right here where, are we going to try and go backwards to where we were at 8, 9 years ago and the way we were? Or are we going to move on and to see this is a whole new direction and facing our patterns and facing our stuff and facing our deepest truth and writing an awesome, successful world for not only ourselves but the world if we're ready to face that shit inside? And this is not about shaming people, whether it's politically shaming them or whether it's shaming them in their personal lives about who they are as a person because of whatever their pattern is. This is about accepting people for what their patterns are, and if you're willing to work with them and accept them as an individual and show respect to one another, then this is an amazing time for that kind of stuff. Being honest, being real, being like, you know what, I'm sorry. Like, maybe I said shit to you, or maybe I am the way that I am, but I came from my truth, and you know what, some of my patterns I have to still deal with. Can you accept me for that, or forgive me for that, and accept that, and let me be who I am? Because this is the only way we are going to find what everybody's trying to find, which is a harmonious world. No, it's not getting rid of Donald Trump and replacing him with someone else. And it's not finding some messiah in the world that's going to save the world. It's not fucking any of these external fucking things that we're looking at, because all these planets are retrograde. All of the planets that are direct are dealing in signs that, let's be honest, have nothing to fucking do with any of that shit. Have everything to do with our own ability to create the world that's going to be better by accepting ourselves and accepting others for the way they are and treating them by understanding that they're going through the same fucking crazy shit that we're going through inside. And even if it doesn't align in the same way that maybe you want them to align with you, that doesn't mean that you fucking throw hate at them or shame them or be pissed at them, because that's your own shitty emotional anger triggers that this Mars retrograde is bringing up in Aquarius of fuck you and fuck you to this, and that person does this, and the Democrats do that, and the Republicans do that, and blah, 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 blah. Whenever I see that now, and based off the astrology, I just go, okay, well, it's definitely Cancer season in the middle of eclipse season. Everybody's emotions are coming out. And this is a dark moon coming up before an eclipse. So people are starting to freak out and see, like, I don't know if my life's going to go in the right way. Is this the right direction in my life? Is this really going to go good? Oh my gosh. Let's look at the charts. You guys got to give me a break, because I jet ski raced on Sunday and I am so sore I can barely even cross my leg. Thank you, Yamaha, for kicking my ass out there. It was a great, fun run, though. So let me send this to the computer system. Oh, come on, really? It's not, oh yeah, there we go. All righty. First chart that we got up is for today, and that is July 10th. The big news, Jupiter direct, all right? So we were talking about this. Remember, Jupiter's been retrograde since March. And where did it go retrograde? It went retrograde at 23 degrees, okay? So it went back the 10 degrees that it did. And you know what? This covered a lot. What this covered is where Saturn was in 2013 and to the beginning of 2014, all the way up into a lot of the 2015 stuff, okay? And so wherever you were at in your life from 2014 and 2015, this tried to heal and, you know, repair, but also bring up even things that go beyond that time frame, that go back into 12 years ago of where Jupiter retrograded the last time in Scorpio. A lot of things that have to deal with your deep shadow work, who you really are, some of your deeper energies, you know, your whatever your shadow stuff is. Now you've seen it all, and now you can move forward and know how to handle that, because there's good things in shadow work. There's things in our desires that are good for us. There's things in our desires that are bad. We now have seen from this Jupiter retrograde, and now the test is how we're going to use it. And it's the only place of really any hope and optimism right now, since I've been saying to everybody, you know, Mercury's direct, but it's squaring Jupiter retrograde. So, you know, there's definitely this like kind of needing to chuckle about the rawness, kind of needing to chuckle about the fun, have some humor, see that everything's going to work out and be positive, instead of get lost in this whole, oh, I've been fucked over, or no, man, the world's just crappy, and falling into this perception of a dark, dark world and some dark, dark thing, or that the world's shady, or that all this shit's shady. Sure, there is a bunch of shady shit going on in the world, but is that going to affect you and being a light worker and bringing some positivity to the world and spreading light and being a power force in the world and changing it? Just because Al Capone's in the back fucking making some backdoor deal with some fucking thug doesn't mean the world's a horrible place. Doesn't mean that there aren't great things going on at the same time. Instead of just focusing on that, it's a whole other story. Then, of course, here on July 10th, Venus is now officially in Virgo. It's actually on the star Regulus, which is at 00, I think maybe 01 now of Regulus, something like that. But anyways, Virgo. But anyway, there's this purity aspect that I think is realizing the humbling of how can we purify our life? How can we rearrange it to be better? There's a lot of these things that are coming up in our life to do that. And so I think it's important that this Venus Virgo for you is how can you make changes in your life without being a critical asshole, but being somebody who goes, let's clean this up, let's get this done. And you know what? Staying busy right now is very important. If you're sitting on the couch, not doing much in your life right now, not going to be a very fun time, especially when Venus is starting, and we'll show you, is starting its trine to Saturn, it's starting its trine to Uranus and Taurus. These are signs that work and do things. So if you're not doing things and you're sitting in the Cancer world of sitting on the couch or waiting in bed or waking up every morning and unsure what to do, guess what? You're going to feel like you're going through fucking hell. You're going to feel like this world is just impossible to deal with because you're not focusing on a lot of the things that you can be creating. And there is no perfect time, right? There is no like, well, when I finally get that email, it's like the lesson about Uranus and Taurus and Venus and Virgo and Saturn and Capricorn is fucking get up, plant the seed, find some water, let the sun do what it's got to do, but just don't sit there and wait for the fucking thing to grow. What's the next thing you could do? Can you go rearrange the tools in the shed to make it easier for when you wake up in the morning to go fucking look at that plant? There's a lot of things that you could do to make this shit better. This is what the universe is trying to do. The other thing that we need to bring up about today is the beginning of the balsamic phase of the moon. Now, I ran this chart for 1:18 p.m. Pacific, but it's already over 5:30, 6 o'clock. So the moon's already moved within 30 degrees, which means that last 30 degrees of the moon coming to the sun is what we call the balsamic phase of the moon, or the dark moon. Now, dark moons, okay, on a solar eclipse, and I want to make this one extremely clear. Dark moons on a solar eclipse are like a cigar cutter. Have you ever used a cigar cutter? You put the cigar into a hole. I know that doesn't look right. But then what happens is the sun and the moon, as they're coming towards this eclipse to be perfectly eclipsed, right? It's a chopper. It chops reality. But people freak out in the days before an eclipse during a dark moon with breakups, breaking situations up, acting crazy, especially a dark moon in fucking Gemini, losing your head, overthinking things, thinking something is something the way it is when it's really not, getting overly emotional, you know, letting an emotional fight turn into a fucking chaotic storm. Like, this is definitely a time where it's like, let these next couple days percolate. Do the behind the scenes work. Do the busy work. You don't need to make the biggest leaps of your life at this moment. That's what the eclipses are going to be for, which start on Thursday. We're talking on Tuesday. We're not, I mean, can you make it through fucking Wednesday without fucking doing something crazy? Can you just make it one day? Can you make it one day? We'll see. We'll see. I've learned this lesson very hard in my life. Multiple eclipses, okay? Multiple, including lunar eclipses, where I have just lost my shit and caused huge ruckus in my life. And I have learned the lesson by being smacked in the head by eclipses enough to know on especially the dark moons before an eclipse. Don't fucking lose it. Don't freak out. Don't make major decisions during these days either. It's very important. So, let's move on to the next chart, which is right before the eclipse. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because on Wednesday, the reason why I'm not telling you to lose all your guys' shit is Venus is at 2 degrees of Virgo, and that's starting the grand trine, right? You can see it right here in the chart. Bum, 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 bum. With Saturn, but especially Venus trine Uranus. Now, Venus trine Uranus is definitely a freedom spirit. Needing freedom and independence in relationships, needing to be able to express your soul's self-worth in the world and have people resonate with it, needing to show that you've got what it takes to connect, that you are intelligent, that you have radical gifts, and wanting people to see it. I was born with this aspect, so I know this one too well. But on a dark moon, because let's look at the moon. Oh yeah, it's, even though it's in Cancer where it's happy, it's you know, it's still in a dark moon phase. No eclipse that day, Wednesday, so don't lose yourself. And I think it's also important to realize that this Venus in Virgo, as it's changing reality, changing your schedule, changing your life, rearranging situations, uncovering things about relationship stuff, you know, with the trine to Uranus and Taurus, it also at the same time is realizing we can be better manifestors by picking quality decisions and the people we associate with, and more importantly, the things that we do in our life, the things that we create. There's a lot of things that are making us make sure, like before we just like try and like liberate ourselves or become a rebel, that we really look at the repercussions and the benefits at the same time of, you know, okay, well, how is that reality going to change? And let's look at everything from a very unique angle, but it doesn't mean that we need to act on it. Because remember, Taurus is not like responsive or reactive. It is a processor that goes, okay, when it's really good, yeah, let's do it. But it takes its time to process to make sure it's good. The reason why diamonds are worth so much money isn't because you can just make it in a day. It takes thousands and thousands of years to actually become a diamond, right? And a precious gem, right? And that's where Taurus comes in, where it's like, is this really, you know, let's see if it is a precious gem. Let's not react. Let's see. Now Venus trine Uranus as well is definitely, whether it's a money situation or a relationship situation, really finding some out of nowhere, some really good and crazy luck out of nowhere, or a change in things, or a crazy direction, or if you're single, a radical new relationship showing up in your life, or a radical new situation or project that finally starts to show up in a way that you didn't think it would. So there's some positive to that. But the other part, of course, is Venus is trining Saturn. throughout this process, and Saturn and Uranus are coming into more of a trine. And so really this Saturn in Capricorn is asking for, like, well, what's on the path? And remember that these two planets, like I said earlier, Venus and Uranus, are in fall positions, so they're not at their strongest. The only thing that's the strongest is Saturn and Capricorn, and actually in the whole entire chart, the strongest planet in the whole entire chart is Pluto, or Saturn and Capricorn. So the fact that there is aspects to this is a big deal, because it's asking, okay, is this on my life path? Am I on my life path? And is it good for me in the long run? You know, Saturn and Capricorn can be kind of a party pooper. Maybe we want to party, or maybe we want to experience some radical crazy shit. But like, is it good for us? Is it on track with where we're going in our life? Like, Saturn can also be the initiator of a great party, as long as it's good for us and in the direction that's good in our life. So there's a lot of things that are coming up there at the same time. And especially in a dark moon, you know, definitely not kind of reacting to this energy, especially like getting kind of out there or crazy or over radicalized about it, I think is extremely important as well. Now, let's talk about the solar eclipse. So 20 degrees, 41 minutes, we're having the solar eclipse, going to be happening. And what's interesting about the solar eclipse is it's exactly in opposition to the planet Pluto. Now, Pluto, of course, is in Capricorn. This is where a lot of the transformation and change is coming from. And especially in Capricorn, as it really is a look at, you know, this risk towards this long-term look at your life that's going to last for a long time. And I think what's hard about this solar eclipse is, yes, it's near the North Node, but it's a North Node in Leo still, which is really focusing on a positive life, and a life of where you're able to express yourself and show yourself, and not, you know, get caught up into some emotional subconscious thing. Because remember, a solar eclipse is dealing with the moon shadowing, well, the moon in front of the sun, right? And the sun's connection with the moon is putting a shadow, and we're actually able to seeing it. And so this moon shadow is bringing up extremely, especially in Cancer, its natural home sign, it's going to light up all of our subconscious moon emotional shit in our life. And, you know, are we ready to change that emotional shit? Are we afraid of the fear in which we have to face these emotional truths in our life? Are we afraid to make a change to go better in our life and go longer term and really reach where we want to go? Or are we going to distract ourselves and get caught up in positions in our life that really aren't the best for us? And I think that that's kind of the hard scenario here, is paying attention to a lot of the emotional needs in our life and making sure they're needs that are met with true, positive, long-term, great growth at the end of the day. Let's also take a look at how Venus on this day, at the same token, is really interesting to me, because here it is in the grand trine during the solar eclipse with Saturn, like, you know, changing our life. And Venus in Virgo, remember, is a virgin, right? It is a virgin. It is pure. Not like in the sense of like Pisces, like spiritual pure. It's more like kind of like, am I living like a pure physical life? Like, am I living around a reality that has purification around it, that has, you know, a positive, you know, influence on me? It's not toxic. It's not escapism. It's like grounded in something pure. And with the trine to Saturn, that's good for me in the long term, that's full of integrity. You know, this is where we're learning, like, we have to step up in ourselves to be of a higher integrity. And being of integrity isn't a show. It's not by opening a door, or it's not by, you know, kind of just showing up and I'm on time. Integrity is whether or not you're really ready to go deep inside of yourself and make changes that's going to bring your life to a higher level. Especially with Uranus and Taurus in here, there's a lot that's asking for you to reach higher in your life about where you could really go to a better quality life. Like, this is in that grand trine aspect. So, you know, this is a very positive solar eclipse. If you're ready to step into integrity, a higher vision, a more quality life, and you're not delusional about things. The reason why I say that is this solar eclipse is trining Neptune, but any trine, square, septile, whatever you want to call it, semi-square, anything that ever happens to Neptune is going to bring up, are you delusional or are you living on a higher plane spiritually? And so this is calling on us to live on a higher plane spiritually in all aspects of this. And Mercury at the same time during this solar eclipse is actually making, and it's coming off its quincunx over to Neptune. So, you know, are you getting lost in a fantasy of what you think will be wonderful? And this is really just some emotional subconscious shit that like you're trying to find a quick, comfortable solution to not facing the integrity of yourself. Mars in the South Node, they're coming into almost a close exact conjunction. We're talking within 1.5 degrees here. You can even call it like 1 degree in 40 minutes, but this is bringing up emotional patterns in our rebellious side, especially dealing with ego issues or feeling like we've lost a situation, but really is it that you feel like you've lost a situation because you're not willing to deal with the shit to win? Like Mars on the South Node always is going to bring up your karmic issues about achieving what you need because maybe it's your own shit. It's your own blocks. Mars on the South Node it's you. It's not another person. This is not Venus on the nodes. This is not Venus retrograding on the nodes. This is Mars retrograding on the nodes. This has to do with your subconscious shit. Not the other person, but it's in Aquarius, so we can start to get really caught up in thinking it's other people's shit. It's other people that do this. It's other people that do that. When really that's just a reflection of like you. Like this is where you just need to own your own integrity of you doing the work. And if people in your life aren't willing to do that, then you don't shame them. You just understand that they're not that on that level, and that doesn't make them littler or anything like that or belittling them or anything. It's about learning like, hey, okay, that's cool. That's where you're at in your journey. This is where I'm at in my journey. And that's just where it is. But at the same time, this is where we can also find extremely great unions with business partners, people, and situations that are on the same karmic page, that are on the same Uranian, Aquarian wavelength. That's why, you know, in Aquarius, and if we go to the chart here, why do you think, you know, the glyph, let me get rid of this, the glyph for Aquarius, right, is the wavy lines in harmony, because it's when you can find frequencies that are on the same vibration at the same time. So a good example is the microphone here I'm using is set to a certain frequency, and it's connected to the transponder that's on this camera, and we're both on the same frequency, so we've been able to connect and we're able to hear the voice clear. But if I tune even one, you know, point on the frequency, you know, 1 megahertz off, right? Let's say I go from 516 megahertz to 517 megahertz, bam, there's going to be static. And so this is bringing up where there's static in situations, and how can we, are we going to face our own shit of where we're bringing the static to the situation? And when we're looking at other people and their emotional situations and stuff and seeing if they're able to come to this level, and if they're not, and I'm not willing to come to it either, then you know what, then we're not on the same wavelength, and that's cool, that's you. Instead of this whole Mars and Aquarius retrograde, which is frustrated, could totally become a rebellious, crazy anarchist in our own life. We can create our own anarchy for our own life. And feel justified that, you know, I need to go in my own fucking world. Like, fuck you. Like, later. And end up, God knows where, you know? But if you watch somebody do that, like, no matter how much you try to help them or try to do what you can, like, they're not going to listen to you because they're connected into this same kind of subconscious frequency that you're involved with in them, where they're going to, it's a test of who's aware and who's not at this point. And there's not much you can do about it. Eclipse season is like fated moments. It's fated moments that are going to happen whether you like it or not. And, you know, shove a story in or shove a story out. You know, that's what they do. They're chapter changes in our life. And be prepared, especially with Pluto in opposition to this solar eclipse, for an extreme transformational experience and an ending and a new beginning, Whether that is in an emotional place in your life that is attached to a job, a relationship, any position. And finding where there's structure. If you're aiming towards something that has no structure, has no physicality to it that will get you somewhere good, and is just kind of like aiming for quick comfort, and you can't change that person's mind or whatever, let them go figure that one out for themselves. It's not your job. Your job is making sure you're going to get where you are the best in your life. Your job is to make sure that you're doing the integrity thing of doing your own work. You can't do work for other people. Part of the problem of Mars retrograde in Aquarius in the South Node with the solar eclipse happening is, oh, I feel like I can fix this person. Let me just keep putting my own shit to the side, and let me keep helping this person deal with their shit. No. And yes, we can add to the trine to Jupiter if we really want. This solar eclipse, it's within 7 degrees, but Jupiter is a huge fucking planet. It's bigger than any sumo wrestler in the world. So, you can always add a big orb to Jupiter. And there is this, where is this door opening to where I really want in my life? What do you really want? And you have to go through your shadow sides, right? Do you want quick fixes? Scorpio does give you quick fixes, like orgasms and, a quick tarot reading that might give you a quick answer for a second. But how much deeper do you want to go? Occultism, which is the ruler of Scorpio, is realizing when you go deeper into the occultism, you go deeper and deeper and deeper to deeper things that last longer. And when you go into sex, sure, you can go watch porn and jerk off and fucking, or as the ladies do, have your little best friend, whatever that little fucking thing is called that you want to use, and fucking get a quick little hit and bang, have your little orgasm. Or are you going to go down maybe some kind of deeper tantric kind of road of a deeper connection of a longer lasting, not only orgasm, but feeling and intensity? Or are you just looking for a quick shebang? Which don't get me wrong, I got Mars and Scorpio. There's nothing wrong with a quick shebang in life. But when you look at the whole span of a whole day or a whole year, a quick shebang really is just a fucking quick shebang, and then you're left there kind of okay, what's next? Yeah, once that energy's been hit and accepted and it's been shebanged, it's gone. That's the whole funny thing about Scorpio is okay, I got that quick hit, gone. That's why Taurus has no quick hits. You know what I mean? There's no such thing in this world as quick money either. Quick money is not real, because money has to sustain your whole life. You might get quick money and it might be a lot of money, but a year goes by and it's gone. So this is teaching you sustainability in your life and structures of sustainability, and that's real comfort. Not quick shebangs, not quick changes to places to where you don't want to face your deep subconscious patterns and your deep issues and your true issues that deep in yourself that you need to fix, and how it affects other people and how it affects the world and how it affects yourself. That's what this eclipse really is about. And if there is no structure there, zero structure, do not go to that place. And we're talking if the structure is very limited and very fragile and very weak, well, I could go here and I don't know what I would do, I'll get there and I'll figure it out kind of energy. You'll realize that there's not a lot of tools right now because Venus in Virgo is at fall position, so it needs already something there to be working with. And then it's an earth sign, and then Uranus and Taurus as well needs something that it has. It's not out of thin air, just something's going to drop into your lap and fix everything. Uranus and Taurus is teaching you to manifest with your tools and what you've got. And I think Uranus and Taurus with Jupiter and Scorpio can kind of get people caught up into expecting just quick fixes out of the sky. You're just going to fucking show up and fix everything for me. Sure, they might be quick, but they're not long lasting. And I think that the deal with this Saturn and Capricorn and this big grand trine is, where is long lasting for me and good? Now, there's a lot there that we covered on that solar eclipse. I want to bring up the 13th, which is Friday, the day after the eclipse, because when I looked at this chart, the first thing that I noticed is, one, once we get out of this eclipse, the moon moves into Leo, so it's going to shift a lot of the energy, and we're going to definitely be moving into a whole entire month of a lot of change in our life. But two, it is this Venus trine Saturn. So after the eclipse, automatically, there's a major test from Saturn, like, okay, what do you got? Like, Saturn kind of is like a gatekeeper in a weird way, or the timekeeper, or however that you want to call it. Like, you gotta look at Saturn as like this homeboy who's like, especially with Venus and trine, kind of like at the gate, like, what do you got for me, kid? You know what I mean? Like, what you got? Like, I want to see if I can bring you up into management or whatever. And if you have made a choice during the solar eclipse to just kind of go into the no man's land and go into comfortable world, and you really don't have much to show, you know, you're not going to get much out of it except for whatever it is that you did. But Saturn is offering this awesome new reality and lifestyle for you if you're showing up with not only integrity, you're showing some sort of purity, you're showing some sort of, I want to raise my life to a higher bar, I want to go to a better place in my life. And a humbling aspect. Venus in Virgo is extremely humbling. It's the humbling truth of the reality of life and the situations that you're in and what you have and what you don't have, you know? And this is all based upon your own manifesting skills. This is based upon how you manifest your life. And it is a very awesome transit for those that show up with the humbling of, I've been doing the work, I'm changing my life, I'm making it more pure, I'm understanding my patterns, I'm ready to go take these bigger risks in my life. I know it's more comfortable for me in the long term than the quick emotional fix of comfort. I'm ready, I've dealt with these subconscious illuminations. This could be a very powerful day after the eclipse of a very big payoff for people, or it could be quite the opposite of feeling like I'm on a trail, I'm all alone. Sure, the universe has got your back with some sort of support, but it's not going to be much with Venus in fall and Uranus in fall. And then Saturn in Capricorn, seeing that you're not bringing much, sure, he'll keep you on the team, but you know, there is a janitor position down the hall. Oh man, I did say that, didn't I? But that's how Saturn thinks, right? Like, there's characters and energies, and that's how Kronos thinks too. He eats his fucking children because they're not fucking good enough in his opinion. He also tries to fucking kill his own father with a fucking, you know, Uranus, which is funny that it's in trine. Like, Saturn is not a fucking, sorry. Like, I know some people love, you know, like, I look at Saturn too as kind of a Queen of Pentacles, but like at the end of the day, Saturn just doesn't fuck around, you know? Like, sure, like things got to move forward to a positive place to get where we got to go in life, and this is a very tough test in your life. And if you don't show up with much to it, and you kind of are like, here, universe, this is what I'm showing you. This is what I'm, you know, it's like, okay, well, really? This is what you brought me? You know? Okay, I'll still honor it. But Saturn is unfortunately, and in the world it sucks, there are hierarchies. And, you know, we're not in a world yet that's ready to get rid of these hierarchies. That is an Aquarian age, which we are still not in. We still haven't had the Jupiter-Saturn that's conjuncting in Aquarius. We still haven't had Pluto come into Aquarius. We are in Capricorn. This is a hierarchy system. And I think that's what frustrates people, is because empath spiritual people, we feel this Aquarius age coming. We know it's coming. But there's this frustration of realizing that we're still in an old world, and this old world has rules and levers and operators and you know, doorways to walk through and scratching certain people's back to get where you need to go, and that's how Capricorn works. This grand trine is testing your ability to know how to get where you want to go, but if you show up with a reality of like, here, you know, I'm not ready to face this pattern. I'm willing to keep holding on to it no matter what. You know, this could be a very intense weekend coming up with the moon in Leo on the north node and right after an eclipse and Venus trining Saturn, like a reality check that smacks you in a very intense way of the truth of, are you going to go somewhere farther in your life, or are you not ready to purify your life? Are you ready to throw it away? You know? It's kind of an interesting way to look at it. And we'll end with the last chart, which I did for Monday, which we kind of end this week, of course, waiting for the eclipse, the next eclipse to come, which is extremely gnarly if you haven't looked, on July 27th, okay? And definitely get my webinar, because honestly, my webinar covers mainly all these two eclipses and the Mercury retrograde coming and all the energy that's coming up here. But we end this with, really, I mean, it's not the craziest. We end the week kind of waiting for this big event to happen, which of course is going to be the sun entering Leo next week. You know, the quarter square of the moon, building up towards this major, you know, lunar eclipse. But in reality as well, I think a lot of this is, you know, making changes in our life. Lots of Virgo, moon in Virgo, Venus in Virgo. So Monday is changing into our realities after the weekend of kind of having this realization, are we really moving into a higher place in our life? And where do we sit on the hierarchy of life? And where do we sit in the caste system of life? Yes, I just said it. That's depending on the life you're choosing to live and the people you're choosing to be around and the patterns you're choosing to keep and the integrity of whether or not you're going to hold integrity for a shitty situation in yourself, or are you going to hold integrity for a better situation for yourself? And we all, of course, want to push this off with the solar eclipse in Cancer on the 12th till the very end. That's uncomfortable. I don't want to deal with that shit yet. This whole eclipse is about you afraid to face the truth of ending a fucking non-integrity situation in your life, whether that's internal, and that of course will mean it's external, because the external means of something that is not of integrity is because you and yourself are willing to hold on to that shitty non-integrity part of yourself and hold that in your life. It's pretty much what I got for you guys on this Deep Astrology this week. You know, good luck to you all out there during eclipse season. I'm here doing consultations on theleoking.com if you want to have a reading with me through this time. I'm also, of course, put the webinar on sale. If you want to know about this whole month with Mercury retrograde that's coming, you want the fast track version of what's happening. It's over an hour long, a video like this, going through the charts, talking about it. It's only $10. Go to inclusiveastrology.com for that. I hope you're ready for transformation, but are you really ready to face the fear of what you need to do in order to do that? It's the biggest question of it all. And if you're sitting in a place of fear, then that is definitely a place that you don't want to be sitting through, because it will not be a fun weekend, as the moon in Leo wants to have fun and Mercury's here and Jupiter's now direct. How can you have a fun weekend if you're still holding on to something in your life that's not of integrity because you're willing to hold on to that non-integrity place within yourself? Very, very interesting week. Fear is the biggest thing that is coming up. Opposition to Pluto. Jupiter's now direct in Scorpio. The good luck is when you face fear. The good luck is when you face the truth. The good luck is when you do something with it. And I hate to use this analogy, but when you end things that are not worth doing. The faster you end it, the faster you get to the positive. The longer you wait, the more it sucks from you and makes you frustrated and gets you pissed. And then we'll start tapping into that Mars in retrograde in Aquarius and start bringing crazy parts of yourself out. And my biggest warning, of course, is, you know, and maybe I shouldn't make it a warning because, I mean, I've experienced this in my life. The dark moon is the closure of a huge chapter. Tuesday and Wednesday today. And you know what? Sometimes those chapters close, and I'm not saying they're bad, but you know what? Like, if that's what happens, that's because you're ready to step into a new story with the solar eclipse, and you're ready to face your fear. But if you're trying to, during this dark moon, kind of hold on to something that's dark, and then push it into these eclipses, man, that's like pushing a fucking reptile, like raptor and Tyrannosaurus Rex into like a fucking church with a baby getting fucking a baptism and watching it just ravage and eat everything in the middle of the church. Like, are you ready to bring that into this eclipse season? Because you're just too afraid to fucking end the shit in your life that's just not good for you? Like, that's the situation you really want to walk into eclipse season with? You know, you guys know me, I've been doing this a long fucking time. I do not fuck around with eclipses. Don't ever. The ancients never fucked around with them. You shouldn't fuck around with them. And what you bring into the eclipses, think of it like the most intense video game of your life, and there are no lives. There are no like, okay, you fucked up, da-da-da-da-da. Eclipse season means like when you bring it in, okay, that's what you're bringing into this mix, all right. This is karma, this is extreme. There are no, you know, it's a lot like kind of like in the military, like this is not a drill. The drill has been these last couple months. This is the real shit. So today and tomorrow, be very wary of what you're trying to bring into these eclipses because they are amplified by 1 million. They're not amplified by 5. They're not amplified by 10. They're amplified by infinity because they are dealing with pure connection of the universe, the sun and the moon perfectly aligning. Now this one's a partial eclipse, so, you know, it's not like it'll be exact, but it's still like, it's there. And you're bringing in to a very rare 3 eclipse cycle, which we don't get all the time. You're bringing in, what are you bringing in? I'm not going to judge you for what you bring in, but at the same time, like I'm also telling you that you have a chance to let go of the things in your life that you don't want to bring into this eclipse. Like if you want to amplify a shitty situation to its highest, be my guest. It's your life. You know? Like, why do that though? Like, the whole point of being aware and conscious is being aware and conscious. And astrology is the aware and consciousness of timing. Like, if you just want to deny that timing and put it into your own ego, this is Mars retrograde. This is you dealing with your own ego of how you want the world to be. And you are going to be very upset when you realize when you try to make the world the way that you want it to be, and make the pieces and the chessboard set up and how you think it's going to go, you are going to get a radical, crazier, weirder, fucking ravaging hellstorm that you might not be prepared for at all. And that's why I said this month is called Navigating Through the Eye of the Storm. Because you can either ride this shit through the eye or you can go in the middle of the motherfucking storm. It's up to you, and I'm calling all fucking, you know, fate trains, woo woo, all angels, to fucking give this message out to people. Please share it to people to help them because there is not much time left because it is officially dropping hammer. We are already here. It's July 10th and on July 12th it starts. Don't fuck around. Enjoy yourselves and enjoy this eclipse in your consciousness. And I hope you find everything that you're looking for. And I hope it doesn't turn into a crazy motherfucking hailstorm either. And if you want to learn more about astrology, go to leokingelite.com, where we actually have a full academy ready for you to watch videos, take tests, learn astrology, know how to read your own charts, read your partner's charts, make your own horoscopes, become an astrologer, become a business, every aspect, everything from the beginning all the way to the end. You can get the whole combination, the premium package, which I recommend, which is at a very huge discounted rate. Thanks so much for all your support. I truly appreciate it, everybody. Sending you my best on this fate train. Woo woo! And it's not freight train, it's fate train. I'll see y'all later.